there, Kim Stevens here in the Fox 26 Newsroom, and we are your back to school station. We are helping families with getting ready or get back into the whole back to school schedule. It comes around every year. We know it's coming around, and still sometimes it feels like it's just hit us like a brick wall, and we're not ready, or we don't want to be ready yet. We are talking about specifically sleep schedules today. And we are talking here with pediatric nurse practitioner Lori Dahlberg with Community Health Partners to help families get into that sleep schedule, because usually, right, Lori, children get to during the summer maybe go to bed a little bit later, but for school they've got to go to bed a little earlier again, right?
Absolutely. They need that night's sleep, good night's sleep before getting back to school.
Okay, so how much sleep do they need?
Well, it's a little different for different age ranges, but definitely for that school age child, we need about 9 to 11 hours of sleep at night. Then older, young teenagers, preteen into teens, it's more like 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night.
Okay, and then like you said, every child, every body is different. I'm kind of feeling like I'm more of like an 11, but I certainly don't get that on this shift. But every child's body is different, so we kind of need to work with that, right?
Absolutely. And a good way to tell if your child's getting enough sleep is, do they wake up on their own? If you're having to wake them up every morning, which I guess most of us usually do, but that may mean they really aren't quite getting enough sleep. So you ought to shift that sleep bedtime a little bit earlier than the night before.
Oh boy, I need an alarm for every 2:30 a.m. wake up.
That may mean that you're really not getting enough sleep. It's really wonderful if you wake up a few minutes before your alarm actually goes off, because that means you really did get a full night's sleep. But I realize, I have children too. I realize that's not quite the case, and we do get on that schedule and have to wake up. But if they're waking up groggy all the time, that may mean they're really not getting quite enough sleep. But really, you should start working on the sleep schedule. We're almost a little behind the ball here, because we should have started on it like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, well before school was starting. Because to go from staying up till 10 and 11 at night to trying to make it 9 o'clock your bedtime, then that doesn't happen just overnight like that. So they will be very groggy for that first week of school while you're trying to shift it back to the norm. And also, it's real hard to fall asleep all of a sudden at 9 when you've been going to sleep more like 11. It makes it real hard to drift into that sleep at that point.
How long does it take us to get back into a schedule, or our body to feel like that?
Definitely at least a good week. It depends on how bad you were doing. So we've got a lot of teenagers, of course, that might be gaming all night long, and they're not going to bed till 1 or 2 in the morning. That may take a month or so to get back to the norm of trying to begin your sleep routine maybe around 9 to be asleep by 9:30 or 10. That could take a month or so. But in the school age child that's just a little off on their times, about a week or so would be a good period of time to get set up for that.
What if you do go to bed earlier than you're used to, so you're not really tired? What do you recommend to help you get tired and not just lay and just
Absolutely. So it's super important to do things to help your body to produce melatonin, because melatonin is a hormone in your brain to help you fall asleep. And when you do things that get you prepared to go to bed, that will help you fall asleep faster. So those sort of things are maybe take a warm bath or take a shower and get in your nice pajamas and have the room. Now this is going to be a funny one because it's 110 outside, but have your room be kind of cooler, because when you're cooler, that helps you drift into sleep as well. And definitely what's not going to help, and I know a lot of people know this already, but any sort of screen time, so gaming or the phone or a tablet, just looking at that screen, and even the TV, looking at that screen really stimulates the brain, and you do not produce melatonin when you're doing that. So if you're not producing that, you're not going to drift into your sleep as easily. You have to stop those things about an hour before you start your sleep process. So if you're trying to get to bed by 9 o'clock, you should be starting your process at 8:30, and that means 7:30 should be the end of the screen time.
Okay, that's helpful, kind of getting the math on our schedule. I have noticed that reading does help me fall asleep, But a lot of times people don't read from a book anymore. They're reading from a device. So if we change the lights on it, is that okay?
Absolutely, changing it so it's dimmer, that is helpful. But I will tell you, if you're really struggling to fall asleep, if the reading on a screen is helping you, go for it. That's going to work. But I would prefer you actually have a book to read, because it's a different response with your eyes to your brain and helping you to produce that melatonin. So a good book will help you fall asleep. But even better would to get like an Audible or a book on tape. That sounds funny, book on tape, but Audible, like a recorded book, and turn off the lights and just set it to go, okay, I want it to read to me for 20 minutes, and then set that aside, close your eyes and listen to the story. That's really going to help their brains to calm down. And even younger children, Magic Tree House books or whatever else, it can be the same story over and over again, but listening to that person tell a story and focusing your mind on that story really helps you to relax and to drift into sleep. And then it'll go off automatically if you've got it on a timer.
That's a fantastic idea. Oh my gosh, I love that. And hopefully, especially with those Magic Treehouse, you may have fantastic dreams.
Yes, because it'll get you into that story. There are actually even apps that have different stories to help children fall asleep as well. So look into that. That's helpful.
What if we just can't sleep well and we're tired a lot? How does that end up affecting our health down the road or, throughout the day?
Sleep is so important, because when we're sleeping, our body heals itself. You've got things going on all day long and your body is just letting you do what you need to do. But when you fall asleep is when your body repairs things. It repairs your brain if you've been a little extra stressed this week, and helps you calm down, helps you remember things that you've been studying while you're sleeping. Helps your immune system to grow stronger, so you won't catch that stuff that's going around when you're exposed to it. Your immune system will fight it off faster. So sleep helps every part of your body to work better. There's a lot of things that can happen when you haven't been getting enough sleep for weeks on end. Just different things show up and you get sick easier. Lots of things and you don't do well in school. So sleep is super duper important.
You said the word melatonin. Our body naturally produces it, but we do live in a day and age now where people just want to pop a pill to make anything happen, whether I lose weight or fall asleep or whatever. Can melatonin be helpful for children?
Absolutely. Now, of course, I prefer the cycle of trying to get to bed on time and not have the electronics. And I know I've got the gaming behind me, but not have that going on late. And so that stuff should be your first thing. But when you're really having a hard time going to sleep, giving your child a little bit of melatonin, it is helpful and it is safe. If you're having to use it, it's not working and you're having to use more and more, that's not okay. And before you start using it, you absolutely should talk to your pediatrician first and just check in with them, because there could be another reason why your child's having a hard time with sleep. So we wouldn't want to jump in with the melatonin if there's something else that we need to fix. But always start at a low dose of it when you are using it. It comes in 1, 2, 3, and 10 milligrams. I don't like to hear when people are on 10 milligrams. That means it wasn't working. You really should have been being seen. But it is safe, and it is a hormone that we produce ourselves. So it's good stuff.
Okay, so it is August right now, and let's say my child is still groggy or really just not waking up. By what date do we say, we need to come in and see a professional like you?
It should take about 2 or 3 weeks to get your sleep schedule under control with the new school year. So if after 3 weeks they're really still struggling to fall asleep or stay asleep, we really probably ought to see them.
All right. Any last words?
Some of the other things, I'm sorry, some of the other things that we do look at is sleep apnea, or they might have large adenoids pressing on their airways, making it so they wake several times at night, or even restless leg syndrome, where they wiggle so much and have a hard time settling down. So there's a lot of medical conditions that can be causing sleep problems too. So your pediatrician should see them.
Okay. Well, Lori Dahlberg, a pediatric nurse practitioner with Community Health Partners, thank you very much for your advice, and hopefully everyone gets, or finally will get, a good night's sleep in this back to school season. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.